In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to create custom labels using StampManage. So my first step is under the Reports menu, I will select Create Labels. And what this does is bring up the report designer for the program and launch a label project wizard. So let me click Next button here. Now here it's asking what is the label printer that I will eventually output these labels to. And on this computer I have a Brother QL570 dedicated label printer here. Now it's showing me the current measurements of the labels that are currently in this program. In the printer are 29 by 90 millimeters. I will accept that. Click Next. Now here you have the option to select some labels that predefined labels that you can use in various label printers, but for this demonstration I would just use the user-defined setting, which is the top line here. Click Next. Now it's asking me if I want to make any changes to the size, offset, print order, etc., etc. And I'm going to say no. Now, in some cases, if you output the labels and they're not outputting correctly, you may have to change these parameters. So let me click Next. Now, 1 by 1 means one label across, one label down, and that's usually the setting for a dedicated label printer. If, for example, you were outputting these labels to a laser printer and you had, you can go to an office supply store and buy Avery label templates which allow you to output, for example, 10 labels per page, 2 across and 5 down. But for a dedicated label printer, it's usually 1 by 1. So let me click Done. And so here I'm just basically going to define the information, the fields that show up in each label. So I've got 2 predefined labels. I can always change these. I can add more. I can change the size and location. That's not a problem. So let me double click on the first one. Sorry. And so here I'm going to output the stamp.description data. Click OK. And so on this top line you'll see a stamp description. Now here, let's say for example I want to show the Scott number. I can double click on this. Stamp Scott number. Click OK. Now what you can also do when you're editing a text label is you can change the font. So let's say I want this to be bold and 12, a little bit bigger, more noticeable. I can do that. Make this text field a little bit smaller. And that's pretty much the way it works. Under the Insert Page tab, I can specify I want another text field and just click on Text and define the size. Now here I could enter, for example, stamp.color and stamp.perforation, insert text. Okay. Now I'm not going to spend a lot of time making this look great. We had a user ask, how can I put a frame around these labels? So what you would do is under Insert, you click on Rectangle and you define the rectangle. Now this is a bit tricky because you see the rectangle obliterates pretty much all the fields. So what you need to do is when you have the rectangle selected down here, let me see where that is. Yeah, in the filling, there's a filling section here. And instead of filling it with a color, you just say transparent. And once you do that, the labels will print out with a just outline of a frame around each label, and the text for each label will show up there. So now that I'm done, as I said, this is not well designed. You could easily go for hours just making this look exactly the way you want it, but I'm just going to use this as an example. So under File, I'm going to save these. Let me just call them PDD labels. And I can get an approximation of what they're going to look like without actually printing by, for example, let's say I can say select output labels using, click on my template, click Open, preview under the drop down, and it's going to show me what each label is going to output like, and you can see here the rectangle. Now obviously I need to change the font size and things like that. So that's just an introduction to how to print labels. This is a very complicated subject, and we'll try and do some more videos on this subject in the future. Thanks for watching.